This is like a boxing here. We don't get no news, no talk, no nothing.
That's Lil Durk on a prison call with DJ Academics, spilling the tea on how wild his jail time really is. And trust, it's rough. But that ain't even the craziest part. Durk let loose some bombshells that could shake up his whole case. Let's break it down. Ever since Durk got picked up at Miami International Airport, he's been locked down at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles. He pled not guilty to everything in LA federal court on November 14th, 2024. His trial was supposed to start January 7th, 2025, but it got pushed way back to October 14th, 2025. Why? Because this case is huge. Over 230 gigs of digital evidence and 20,000 pages of documents stacked against him. He's been denied bond over and over again. Prosecutors say he's a flight risk, pointing to his planned trips to Dubai, Switzerland, and Italy. On top of that, they're dragging in more allegations, even trying to link him to another body. His legal team offered up a wild $3 million for bail, including house arrest and putting up property. But the judge shut that down fast on December 12th, 2024. So what's it been like for Durk behind bars? He's been giving us little peeks through jail calls and surprise music drops. One leaked call that hit the internet had him saying he straight up refused PC, protective custody. That move had folks like academics raising eyebrows, especially for someone as big as Durk. Durk revealed he hasn't even heard any of the tracks from his new album Deep Thoughts since he got locked up.
Ain't nothing changed, bro. I just been focused on life, my family and stuff like that. I'm trying to learn how to speak Arabic again.
Wait, how you learn that? Like, how do you get to learn that? You got classes?
You said, no, it's a couple guys here that don't speak Arabic fluently. So I'm just learning the different words and, tighten up my Arabic, just getting my knowledge.
In another recorded call, supposedly from late April 2025, we hear him opening up about how he's keeping his head up behind the wall. Yeah, ain't nothing changed, bro, he says, trying to stay solid. Turns out, Durk's making the most of jail life. He's been learning Arabic from fellow inmates and reportedly keeping his skills sharp on the court with some heated 2-on-2 basketball games. But not everything behind bars has been smooth sailing. Word is Durk's been breaking some of the jailhouse rules. Authorities at MDC Los Angeles claim he's been caught on three-way calls, even after being told not to do that. Prosecutors are now using that against him, saying he can't follow simple rules, definitely not helping his shot at bail. Still, even from a cell, Durk's keeping his name hot in the streets. On March 28, 2025, he posted on X about his upcoming album Deep Thoughts, saying, "I wasn't going to put this out, but then I remembered the streets need this. Not being outside with y'all when I drop is hard, but I know I will feel y'all love and energy through these walls." Durk also made his voice heard straight from the pen in a phone call that got featured on Hypno Carlito's track Where Smirk Go, which dropped on November 1st, 2024. In the call, Durk showed love to Carlito, calling him a brother and making it clear he's riding with OTF, only the family, no matter what. But of course, the internet had something to say. Some folks on X were claiming the voice didn't sound like the real Durk. Now let's dive into the legal mess his team's dealing with. Durk's got attorney Drew Finley leading the charge, a lawyer known for helping rappers beat tough cases, and they're going hard. On April 19th, 2025, Durk's legal team filed big motions, one to dismiss the new indictment, and another asking the court to rethink his detention. They're saying the prosecutors used false or misleading info to convince the grand jury. One of their biggest points, the feds used Durk's lyrics against him. Again, they pulled lines from his verse on Babyface Ray's track Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, which dropped back in December 2022. Prosecutors pointed to bars like, "Told me they got an addy, go, go, got location, go, go, green light, go, 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 go," and a moment where someone's yelling, "No, no," saying it sounded like Durk was celebrating a shooting and reacting to a real-life news clip about Quando Rondo after Louis Pop's death. But Durk's lawyers came back swinging, saying that track was actually recorded in January 2022, 7 whole months before the August 2022 shooting. And they've got sworn statements from the producers, including Juice VS, to prove it. That timeline totally wrecks the idea that those lyrics were about the incident. Durk's legal squad pointed out how the prosecutor's theory would basically mean Durk had psychic powers, like he could predict the future. And that sarcasm wasn't lost on the courtroom, but that's just the start. The second major blow from Durk's team, they're calling out the claim that his song used audio of Quando Rondo yelling "no, no" from a news clip. Durk's lawyers fired back, saying that clip ain't from the original song. It came from some random fan-made YouTube edit. They made it clear Durk had zero connection to those versions, calling them manufactured video clips from random internet users that should never count as real evidence in a federal case. His attorneys are saying the prosecution's move to bring this kind of altered, misleading content into the grand jury process is straight up misconduct. They're accusing the feds of twisting the truth so bad it messed with the whole purpose of the grand jury. Because of this, the defense is pushing to get the entire indictment tossed. And if that doesn't happen, they're demanding full access to the grand jury transcripts to see how deep this went. Meanwhile, Durk's team is still fighting to get him out. They filed for bond again, offering up $2.3 million in property equity from Georgia and $1 million in cash straight from Sony Music. Judge Patricia Donahue approved a bond hearing for May 8, 2025, but it ain't been easy. His last bond request was denied. And on top of all that, things got even messier in February 2025 when Andrea Laquilla Robinson, Lou P.A.'s mom, hit Durk, his manager, OTF, and a related company with a wrongful death lawsuit in Cook County Court. The lawsuit claims Durk was the mastermind behind the targeted hit that took out Robinson. But that murder-for-hire case tied to Quando Rondo isn't the only storm he's caught in. A 2023 FBI affidavit links Durk to another uncharged murder-for-hire plot, this time aimed at Stefan Mack, a suspected Gangster Disciples member in Chicago back in 2022. That alleged hit is rumored to be payback for the 2021 killing of Durk's brother, Dante Banks. Even though Durk hasn't been charged for this second supposed plot, prosecutors are using it to argue he's too dangerous and could dip if given the chance. They say this just proves why he should stay behind bars. But this case ain't just about Durk. It's sparking a much bigger debate. The feds are leaning hard on Durk's lyrics as so-called evidence, and that's raising eyebrows across the industry. Critics are calling out how unfair it is to treat rap bars like confessions instead of art. They say it's a biased move that hits hip-hop harder than any other genre. The trial, now set for October 14th, 2025, is gonna be major. All eyes are on it, from fans to legal experts. If convicted, Durk could be staring down a life sentence. Still, his legal team is holding strong, ready to challenge every piece of so-called evidence. Now let's zoom out and see how Durk's case fits into a bigger pattern. Rappers getting caught up in gang beefs and ending up behind bars. The tension between Durk, NBA YoungBoy, and Quando Rondo might have played a role in how all this spiraled. And what's happening to Durk right now could have a huge impact on his legacy and the culture as a whole. Durk's legal drama might be wild, but it's far from the first time we've seen this storyline play out. Over the years, plenty of rappers have gotten wrapped up in charges tied to street life. Let's run through a few that hit close to Durk's situation, starting with YNW Melly. The Florida rapper, linked to the Sign Bloods, got locked up back in February 2019. He's accused of taking out his own boys, YNW Juvie, Christopher Thomas, and YNW Sack Chaser, Anthony Williams. Prosecutors say it was all tied to inner gang politics. Melly's first trial ended in a mistrial in July 2023, and he's still behind bars, waiting for a retrial set for September 2025. Just like Durk, his case is full of claims that he planned violence linked to his affiliations. And yep, his music's being used as evidence too. Then there's Tay K, a Texas rapper tied to the Daytona Boys out of Arlington. His trouble started in 2016 after a home invasion gone wrong. He and his crew allegedly targeted an op during a robbery, which ended with Ethan Walker getting killed. Tay-K got convicted of murder and aggravated robbery in 2019, earning a 55-year sentence. These cases show how real the risks are when music, street life, and crime collide. Just like Durk, Tay-K was another young rapper who got deep in gang beef, and it turned deadly. Then there's K-Flock, a rising drill star out of the Bronx repping Sev's side. He got locked up in 2021 for the murder of Oscar Hernandez, a killing tied to his crew's beef with the rival DOA gang. In 2024, K-Flock was found guilty and now faces the possibility of life behind bars. His case, like Durk's, shows how drill music mixed with local gang wars and online flexing can take things way too far. But maybe the most high-profile case that mirrors Durk's is Young Thug's. Thugger got snatched in May 2022, accused of running YSL, Young Stoner Life, as a Bloods-affiliated criminal enterprise. He was hit with RICO and gang-related charges. After more than 2 years in the system, he finally took a plea deal in October 2024, dodging the heavy charges but landing 15 years probation instead. Just like Durk, Thug was seen as the leader of a rap crew that prosecutors labeled a gang. They tried to tie him to real-life violence and ops getting targeted in the streets. And you can't forget C-Murder, a New Orleans rapper signed to No Limit Records tied to the infamous Calliope projects. He was convicted of second-degree murder back in 2009 for the killing of 16-year-old Steve Thomas at a nightclub. C-Murder got life without parole and is still locked up fighting to appeal his case and claiming misconduct by the prosecution. These cases also show how prosecutors love to twist music videos and crew affiliations into so-called evidence, often turning bars and visuals into something they were never meant to be. Criminal confessions. Now let's break down the beef that allegedly sparked Durk's current legal nightmare, the tangled and deadly drama between Lil Durk, NBA Youngboy, and Quando Rondo. This feud goes way back to serious tension between Durk's crew, Only the Family, or OTF, and NBA Youngboy's camp, Never Broke Again, NBA. Things hit a deadly turning point in November 2020 when King Von, one of Durk's closest people and an official OTF signee, was killed in a shootout outside an Atlanta club. That night changed everything. Word is, Von stepped to Quando Rondo outside the spot, and that's when Rondo's guy, Timothy Lil Tim Leaks, started busting. Von didn't make it. Lil Tim got hit with a murder charge, but in 2021, he walked free after prosecutors ruled it was self-defense. That decision had Durk and the OTF camp furious, and the streets were watching every move after that. After Von's death, the war went digital and lyrical. Both sides started throwing shade and disses on tracks and social media. Quando Rondo dropped a track called Could've Been Me, which allegedly took shots at both Durk and Von while referencing the club shooting. Behind the scenes, there was talk that Rondo even tried to squash the beef. He supposedly DM'd Durk, asking to settle things peacefully. While all this was going down, Durk and NBA Youngboy kept tossing subliminal shots at each other through their music. In one unreleased track from 2023, Durk allegedly hinted that he had a chance to take out NBA Youngboy in Utah, making an already explosive beef even hotter. But it wasn't just the streets fueling the tension. The industry side added its own drama. Social media posts claim Durk tried to blacklist NBA Youngboy and Quando Rondo from Apple Music. Reportedly, he told them straight up, "If you rock with those dudes, don't rock with me." Even though there's no hard proof, the rumors had people thinking Durk was moving behind the scenes to block their come up in the game. But what really shook everything, federal prosecutors now claim that Durk's thirst for revenge over King Von's death pushed him to put money on Quando Rondo's head, allegedly setting up a murder-for-hire plot. And that's the move that's got him facing life in federal prison right now. This whole mess shows how fast things can turn deadly when rap, beef, and real street politics collide. What starts off as a few tough lines in a song or a slick post online can spiral into full-blown violence with legal consequences that don't play. The beef between Durk, NBA Youngboy, and Quando Rondo shines a light on deeper issues in drill culture and Chicago's gang life, where revenge for fallen homies is treated like a code that outruns the law. Music and social media have only made it worse, turning personal pain into viral moments. Fan-made videos, fake info, and wild theories have muddied the waters, even popping up in Durk's defense over those edited lyrics. Even with a Grammy win for All My Life in 2024 and major commercial success, Durk never cut ties with OTF or his Chicago roots. That loyalty earned him respect from some fans, but others saw it as a risky move just waiting to blow up. Unlike rappers like Chief Keef, who dipped from the block after hitting it big, Durk stayed tapped in with O-Block and everything that came with it. That decision, it might have been the start of his fall. So what does all this mean for Lil Durk's legacy in the rap game? If he gets convicted, he could end up spending the rest of his life behind bars, cutting short one of the most promising careers in modern hip-hop. The man who once called himself the voice of Chicago could go quiet for good, his story swallowed up by legal headlines. But even from behind bars, Durk's voice still echoes loud. His album Deep Thoughts, dropped in March 2025 while he was locked up, came in strong at number 3 on the Billboard 200. That shows his fan base is still holding it down, loyal to the core. His impact on drill and the wider hip-hop sound is major. Durk helped evolve the genre with his mix of melody and street stories. His case also hits on deeper questions about the line between art and real life in hip-hop. Prosecutors using rap lyrics like their court confessions has sparked heavy backlash. Critics argue that it targets the genre unfairly, twisting creative storytelling into supposed evidence. Scholars like Eric Nielsen have been calling this out, saying it misses the whole point of the music. Durk's case is more than just headlines. It's a real human tragedy. Fans, artists, and even critics are feeling the weight of his downfall, especially since Durk had been pushing for change. Through his Neighborhood Heroes Foundation and his work mentoring kids, he tried to shift the energy in his community. But after his arrest, Broadview, Illinois snatched back the honorary key they once gave him, a clear sign that the same community that celebrated him is now heartbroken and let down. Right now, Durk's still sitting in federal custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in LA, waiting on that crucial bond hearing set for May 8th, 2025, and the big trial coming October 14th. What happens next won't just decide his future, it could change how the whole justice system deals with rappers and their music as art, not evidence. At its core, Lil Durk's story shows how drill music's raw blend of art, street ties, and loyalty can lead to real-world chaos. The beef with Quando Rondo, sparked by the tragic loss of King Von, turned into a storm of public diss tracks and alleged revenge moves that landed Durk where he is now, facing life in the feds. From Chirac to the charts, October 24th, 2024 was the day everything flipped for Durk. Known to the world as Lil Durk, he got snatched by the feds at Miami International Airport just as he was about to board a private jet to Italy. One minute he's flying high, living like a boss, the next he's in cuffs. Just like that. Game over. But to really get how the voice of Chicago ended up locked down in federal custody, we gotta rewind the tape. It all started with Durk's come up from the rugged blocks of Inglewood to the heights of hip-hop fame, and how the streets he never completely let go of eventually circled back around. Born on October 19th, 1992, Durk grew up in the struggle on the south side of Chicago. Inglewood ain't just any neighborhood, it's one of the roughest out there. With his dad locked up when he was just 7 months old, young Durk was mostly raised by his mom, a hard-working nurse trying to steer him away from the streets. But the pull of the block was too strong. As a teen, Durk got down with the Black Disciples. He bounced around schools like Paul Robeson High and became a young father by 17. That moment flipped a switch. Durk knew he had to grind harder if he wanted out. Music became his escape plan. In 2010, he started posting freestyles on MySpace and YouTube. Joints like Larin Wasted caught buzz fast. Chicago's drill scene was just heating up, and Durk was right there in the mix. His first mixtape, I'm a Hitter, dropped in 2011 and started setting the tone for everything that came next. I'm Still a Hitter and Life Ain't No Joke dropped in 2012 and racked up over 216,000 downloads on that piff. Huge numbers for an unsigned kid straight out the trenches. Durk wasn't just buzzing, he was heating up fast. That same year, he dropped L's Anthem, which took off like wildfire, and the remix with French Montana pushed him even deeper into the spotlight. This joint stamped Durk as a serious name in Chicago's drill wave, right next to Chief Keef and the rest of the drill pioneers. By 2013, Durk had both the streets and the industry locked in. The success of L's Anthem and This Ain't What You Want had major labels calling nonstop, and he ended up signing with Def Jam. His squad, Only the Family, OTF, was right there with him. Then came his fourth mixtape, Signed to the Streets, in 2013, and it tore the block up. Rolling Stone even named it the 8th best mixtape of the year. With beats from Young Chop and features from Lil Reese, Durk proved he could spit real street pain with a melodic twist. He kept the momentum rolling with his debut album, Remember My Name, in 2015, which shot up to number 14 on the Billboard 200, powered by the hit Like Me, featuring Jeremy. Then Lil Durk 2X dropped in 2016, packed with big names like Future, Young Thug, and Dej Loaf. It peaked at number 29, but songs like My Beyonce with Dej Loaf went gold, showing Durk could move beyond the block and into mainstream ears. After cutting ties with Def Jam in 2018, Durk started really stacking wins. His 2020 track Viral Moment gave him his first Hot 100 hit as a lead artist. Then he followed up with bangers like Three-Headed Goat with Lil Baby and Polo G, and huge features like Drake's Laugh Now Cry Later and Pooh Shiesty's Back in Blood. By 2021, Durk wasn't just making noise. He was in every convo about who was running the game. His joint tape with Lil Baby, The Voice of the Heroes, debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, solidifying their spot at the top. Then came 7,220 in 2022, another chart topper, and in 2023, Almost Healed dropped, landing at number 3, powered by the Grammy-winning anthem All My Life featuring J. Cole, which peaked at number 2 on the Hot 100. At that point, Durk had officially become the most successful artist to ever come out of the drill scene. He was stacking crazy paper too, an $8 million net worth backed by a $40 million Alamo Records deal. Add in streaming royalties, sold-out tours, and even side businesses like Durk Landry Trucking LLC, and it looked like Durk was fully in his boss era. But while the money was flowing, the streets never stopped calling. Durk kept catching cases tied to his deep roots in Chicago's violent street scene. Back in 2011, he got hit with a gun charge for carrying a pole with the serial number scratched off. He later took a plea deal. In 2013, it happened again, this time with a loaded .50 caliber in Inglewood. Then in 2019, he got caught up in a shooting in Atlanta, though those charges were eventually dropped. And on top of the legal run-ins, Durk suffered real losses. His cousin, his manager, his brother D-Thang, and most painfully, his close friend and artist King Von. All the fame, plaques, and business moves couldn't shield him from the cost of staying tied to the life. Behind every platinum hit and sold-out venue, there was a war quietly bubbling beneath the surface. The beef between Durk's OTF camp and rising rapper Quando Rondo started turning deadly. Von allegedly ran up on Rondo and his crew outside that Atlanta club, and that's when Rondo's homie, Timothy Lil Tim Leaks, let off shots that killed King Von. Lil Tim caught a murder charge, but in 2021, the DA ruled it self-defense and let him walk. That decision had Durk and the OTF camp fuming. They saw it as another slap in the face from a system they felt always turned its back on them. After Von's death, things didn't cool down. They got even hotter. Both camps lit up the internet and their music with jabs and warnings. Durk's 2022 track, Ay Hey, and Rondo's End of Story only added fuel, throwing lyrical shots about Von's murder and hinting at revenge. Word on the street is that Quando Rondo tried to squash the drama by hitting up Durk in the DMs, hoping to talk it out, but nothing came from it. The peace talks flopped and the pressure only got worse. That's when, according to the feds, things shifted from rap beef to criminal conspiracy. They claimed Durk, as the head of OTF, crossed the line by putting a bounty on Rondo's head, offering cash and music opportunities to whoever was down to make the hit happen. On August 19, 2022, 5 men allegedly connected to OTF, Cavan London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, and Asa Houston, flew from Chicago to LA with one goal: take out Quando Rondo. They tracked him and his cousin, Saya Lil Pop Robinson, who were rolling in a black Cadillac Escalade. Using 2 rented whips, they followed them across the city. At a gas station near the Beverly Center in LA, the crew opened fire, catching Lil Pop but missing Rondo. That shooting would become the centerpiece of the Fed's murder-for-hire case. The shooting went down with a switch-equipped automatic weapon right in the middle of a busy LA intersection, putting innocent lives at risk. The feds say they've got receipts too. They're holding on to plastic evidence that ties back to OTF, plus records showing Durk's former manager allegedly booked flights and hotel rooms for the shooters. Even wilder, a text from Durk to one of his people reportedly said, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." On top of that, Durk flew to Cali on a private jet with Cavan Grant the day before the hit, August 18, 2022. That timing got the feds all over him. They also pointed fingers at Durk's 2022 track Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy with Babyface Ray, claiming the bars in that song hinted at the LA shooting. But Durk's lawyers clapped back hard, saying the track was recorded long before the incident and that the feds are just reaching, trying to build a case off of lyrics. After those 5 OTF-linked suspects got picked up in Chicago, the FBI found Durk had booked one-way flights to Dubai and Switzerland, plus a private jet headed to Italy. To them, that looked like a getaway plan. So they made their move and arrested him at Miami International Airport on October 24, 2024, just before Wheels Up. Now, Durk's facing heavy federal charges: conspiracy to use interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, using and carrying firearms, including a machine gun, in connection with a violent crime, and more. If he's convicted, he might never touch freedom again. And just like that, the artist who once called himself the voice of Chicago is now silent, locked up and waiting on a trial that could end it all. If you made it this far, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell so you never miss an update, and we'll catch you in the next one.